Is it time to celebrate? Has the shilling seen the worst of the days and it's now just up from here on?
I would be cautiously optimistic going forward. I don't think I'd pop the champagne yet.
Why not? It looks like we've been at 85 for a while. We hit 87 a few days ago. Now we're heading towards 84. Maybe 80 is our new target.
Well, I'm still cautiously optimistic. We look at, okay, the figures are looking good. Inflation figures are looking good. The CBK seems to have gotten its act right this time round. Really, yeah, the champagne, I'd pop it slowly.
You'd pop it slowly because the CBK's MPC decision was just a few days ago, and already it seems to be starting to take effect on the market, especially with the shilling, which they talked about very extensively in their statement.
Yeah, I agree. I can't agree with you more, Larry. I think in my view, I believe the CBK, like I said, it got its act right this time round. The last time I was here, I said it looked like the shilling has gone haywire, but that didn't come to pass.
Yes, so obviously foretelling is not your strong point. Do not never be a fortune teller. There might be excitement in the shilling front, but definitely not in the market. Fine, it closed up today, but overall a very dull day of activity for the second day.
Yeah, the market really, there's not so much, but I can say we had the index rising, albeit on lower turnover. I'm yet to figure out what's driving it, because the turnover seems low, but then the indexes, all the indices are up really.
One of the counters we've been talking about a lot this past few days is obviously Kenya Airways, the national carrier stock picking up, but also we're expecting finally the rights issue results to come out tomorrow. How has the market anticipated those results?
We could. The market sentiment, I personally am thinking is going to be undersubscribed. I didn't see so much of retail investors. Then the reports that the government is not taking up more than its allocation. That figures, that shows something. That's, for me, that's an indication of a lower subscription.
If it is undersubscribed, and yes, go ahead.
Because I mean, the government wouldn't have to come out publicly and say that they are not taking more unless, of course, they'd been offered some more.
If it is undersubscribed, and let's say the amount of especially domestic investors was not as high as had been anticipated, is it likely that the ownership or the majority ownership of the airline might change from being majority Kenyan owned to being foreign owned?
There is a likelihood. There is a likelihood, but remember again, the rules that stipulate how much a foreign investor can hold. So I don't know how we are going to play that.
Let's move on to another interesting one. National Bank today announcing that its new managing director will be Munir Sheikh Ahmed Mohammed. He will be replacing Ruben Marambe, who has been a long-serving managing director from 1st August. What do you think about National Bank, and going forward, how is this likely to change?
National Bank has been it's a bank that has been on the recovery path for quite a long while. In the last decade, remember, they were mostly operating in the loss-making zone, having started paying dividends in the recent past. So going forward, I'm also optimistic about it. And remember, the banking sector as a whole in Kenya is a sector that has stood up. It has withstood so much. Even it's been a resilient factor. It's been a resilient sector. It's withstood the Kenya shilling fluctuations, interest rate fluctuations. So I would still buy, and at the prices of where National Bank is trading right now, it's a buy for anyone.
Maybe the graph might start ticking up, because right now it's the exact reverse of a hockey stick. It's been just going down over the past 1 month. Does a change of management necessarily mean investors might be a bit more confident in it?
Remember, Marambi had been there for a long while, and if we are seeing the price rising, then it seems that that investors are confident. But remember again, in the Kenyan banking sector, really the CEO, it's the prevailing conditions for obtaining returns can largely be credited to CBK.
All right.
And I do not think the CEOs don't deserve that much of a. Really, it's an institutional based thing.
The other one that's been taking up a bit of activity at the market is East African Breweries Limited. What don't we know about this stock?
What don't we know? I believe all that we know is in the public domain, Larry. I think it's mainly profit taking and mostly speculative also. But then again, we also it's not having very high volumes of trading really.
All right. The other one I've noticed of late, agriculture stocks tend to have interest at different times of the year. Kapchorwa tea up again today, nearly 5%, closing at 136 shillings. Over the past few days, it's been slowly ticking up. What are investors seeing here?
I could bet on a huge foreign exchange gain in the last financial year. As we've seen, most agricultural shares, stocks that are most agricultural companies that have released their shares have had a huge foreign exchange gain. So that would be my take. And also, tea prices have not been doing so badly either.
Tea prices not doing too badly. And finally, Centum Investment creeping back in the biggest losers list today, down 1.36% to close at about 14 shillings 50 cents. We don't see too much activity normally from this stock. Do you know anything that might be driving this?
Larry, if you're looking for insider information, I'm the wrong person to come to. But I believe that there's really not so much. Since there's not so much activity, makes it rather liquid share. But we know I'm pretty confident about the fundamentals of the company myself, though.